What is good, human beings who root for the New York Jets? Welcome back to the Jets Free Agency 2022 preview. This is the safety edition. Today, we're going to look at the top five safeties that I would be looking to bring in if I were in the room with Joe Douglas this offseason. Safety is a huge position of need. We're probably going to need to address it both in free agency and in the draft. Here's how I would tackle it. Starting at number five, Devin McCourty. Definitely a little older. He's 34 years old, but I really want to bring in players from winning teams, and our defensive back room needs a veteran. He'd be an extension of the coaching staff onto the field. Pro Football Focus score last year of 76, which is very good. Also added 3 interceptions. And if you look at his Pro Football Focus scores, he's very balanced. There's no area where he's really weak in. He's also a solid tackler. You wouldn't call him a run stuffing safety by any means. He's a converted corner, but he's a reliable and willing tackler. And again, would be a good mentor to our young safety room and our young defensive backs in general. He and CJ Mosley would be the communication pieces on the defense to make sure everybody's in their spots. And I think it'd be worthwhile to invest on a 1 year, $6 million deal to bring in Devin McCourty. I just made a video talking about how the Jets may be looking to bring in JC Jackson. So if JC jumps ship from New England to the Jets, maybe Devin McCourty wants to come along with him. Next, number four, Jaron Curse. I really liked his running mate, Quandre Diggs. But Quandre Diggs suffered a broken leg on the last game of the season, so I'm going to be out on him. And when I was looking at videos of Quandre Diggs, Jaron Curse jumped off the screen to me. It was his first year starting in 21. He had a solid Pro Football Focus score of 75. He's big. He's built like a will linebacker, 6'4", 225. And the reason why I have him on here is he kind of fits the mold that I think Robert Saleh was trying to bring in with a few of those late round picks where he drafted those safety will linebacker hybrids. None of them seemed to take on a big role in the defense last season, but this is that kind of player that Robert Saleh seems to value. Pro Football Focus had him commanding a 3-year, $15 million deal. I'm okay with the $5 million a year, but I'm not going to give him a multiple year contract because this was his first year as a starter. I'm fine with a 1 year, $5 million prove it deal for Jaron Curse. Number three, Jordan Whitehead of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Again, a player from a winning team, a Super Bowl champion, from a well-coached defense. A Pro Football Focus score of 70.7. He is a pure strong safety. That's the only position he can play. He doesn't have the range or the athleticism to play the deep middle, but he plays the strong safety position very, very well. And you can get him for a reasonable 3-year, $18 million contract. He's reliable. He doesn't miss time. And I think it'd be an immediate upgrade to our safety room to bring in Jordan Whitehead of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Number two, probably number one on most people's lists. I have him number two. That is Marcus Williams, safety from the New Orleans Saints. I don't think the Saints are going to be able to retain too many of their players this offseason. They are in salary cap hell. Marcus Williams is an absolute stud at the safety position. Pro Football Focus score of 80.7. Analytically, he's always off the charts. He's young, 25 years old. He's versatile. He can do everything for you at the safety position. And he's going to require the bag to sign him. He's going to look for a long-term deal, and he's going to look to reset the market at the safety position. Pro Football Focus has him commanding a 4-year, $64 million deal. It'd be a lot of money, but it would definitely immediately solve that safety position. And then maybe you go ahead and draft a mid-round pick to compete with Ashton Davis and Jason Pinnock for the other safety position. Number one on my list is safety Jesse Bates from the Cincinnati Bengals. His Pro Football Focus score has been up and down. He has like 2 years where he's really high in the 80s, and then a couple years, including last year, where he dropped down to the 60s. I think he would be a really good fit for the Jets. He's a team captain, leadership, grittiness, toughness. I really think he'd bring all of those intangibles that Devin McCourty brings, along with 90% of the talent of a Marcus Williams. There's nothing against Marcus Williams. I just feel like Jesse Bates would be a really good fit. Maybe wishful thinking. I think the Cincinnati Bengals would be crazy to let him walk. They have a ton of cap space, and I know the numbers point to Marcus Williams being the better player, but I'm just going to trust my eyes here. In the playoffs, I watched every single Cincinnati Bengals playoff game, and he played better than any defensive back throughout the entire postseason. had interception of Matthew Stafford in the Super Bowl. Just seems like he is a heat-seeking missile to the football, and I would love for Jesse Bates to be a New York Jet. A couple names I did not list. I already talked about Quandre Diggs. I like him. I'm just out on him because of the injury. Justin Reed has been a popular name linked to the Jets. I think I'd be okay with that, but I think Jordan Whitehead is similar skill set and has had more consistency and just comes from a winning organization. So that was my tiebreaker between those two. Marcus May, just no thanks. And Tyrann Mathieu, a really good player, feels like he'll probably stay in Cincinnati. And he's a guy who's had some maturity issues over the years and probably needs to be in just that stable environment. I don't know if he's the kind of guy you want to bring in when you're in the middle of a rebuild and trying to establish your culture with your young team. So those are my top 5 safeties. I'm hoping that the New York Jets push offers to this offseason. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And as always, go Jets.